Hey, Stoney here, and this is Dev vs. Pro Tournament. If you haven't seen round 1 yet, you'll find a link in the description. Today, we're going to check out round 2. 4 players advance to the winner's bracket, including 2 developers, Measim and Bearlike, and 2 pros, Steelsane and Dzemp. In the loser's bracket, we also have 2 devs, crazyfish and Hello, as well as 2 pros, Doxun and Sacco. Alright, let's jump in.
Measim, however, with the game now starting, goes for Farseer Specialist, and Dzemp going for Supply Specialist. We're going to see the new unit. How cool is that?
Very exciting. So starting at round 1, very classic opening for Dzemp. One thing I love these IMMR players with when they're starting with Stormcallers is they never put down any arc lights. I remember when I was in like the 1500, whenever I start with like triple caller, Stonecaller, without a second thought, it's going to be 2 more arc lights. But the more I watch players like Dzemp play with these delayed fangs double as chaff clear, the more I think, yeah, that's the right way to go, because it doesn't pigeonhole yourself to arc light as the only sort of chaff clear. You can always pivot into something else.
Yeah, the reality, right, is that these Stormcallers and these delayed fangs is such a neutral board state that you can easily pivot into whatever your end goal is or whatever is offered to you early on in these drops, right? Dzemp, for example, might see an early Melta, and he loves his Meltas, so it'd be really cool to see that going on. But here we go into round 2. Very neutral amount of damage done to Measim at only 50. And we see the first unit drop coming in, so no giants at round 2.
Very early.
Yeah.
Scorpion gets picked right away to go with Sledgehammers. Scorpion also works well against later on the Farseer. And on Measim's side, it's going to be somewhat chaff clear in the form of Typhoons.
Yeah. I think the Scorpion is like a really fortuitous choice here. Not only does it trade well into Sledgehammers, but it does take a little bit for marksmans to choose through it. But also, right, I think we learned this in a cast not too long back. A Scorpion does just enough damage to one-shot a group of Typhoons. So this Scorpion is going to be an absolute stud on the battlefield.
And speaking of studs, we start to see Stormcallers coming in from both sides. Now it's up to 4 squads of Stormcallers for Dzemp and 1 just starting for Measim. But I think Dzemp has got a huge tempo advantage into this round, partially because of this Scorpion here on the left, and also the late arriving fans, just giving so much value. Right, join fires from his marksman, join fires from his Stormcallers, with that unfortunate tower debuff. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not gonna cut
One more.
Yeah,
it's not gonna cut it. First big hit coming from Dzemp onto Measim.
Good crack there for Dzemp. And the reality, right, is that both players slam fire. That was one of the fastest picks I've ever seen. But they both love their fire. These are standard players. They know what they're doing. And Measim now gets his Farseer spec card, or his specialist fully activated and getting the Farseer out this round. So we're going to see some interesting play from that, I hope. I was going to mention, though, earlier, right, that Measim does not have a lot of HP to work with. Honestly, both players don't, with Dzemp picking Supply Spec, which has one of the lowest HP pools in the game. I think only rivaled by Farseer Spec, which has the lowest HP pool in the game. So both players choosing, or at least electing, to not play around fire. I
was gonna say, like, if you look at the board, how symmetrical the board looks, even down to the position of their fire, is so exciting, right? Like it's like they're 2 pieces of the same pot. They're just like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do exactly what you do, but slightly different.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because it feels like what they were doing here, or at least my read on it, is that they were firing their weaker side. So I wonder if that is what's going on. But look, both sides just sent crawlers to their doom through the fire. But I think we're going to have a bit of a reverse tower timing here, where Dzemp is going to be kind of on the unfortunate receiving end of this, but we'll see. Yeah, a lot of damage coming in from these Stormcallers against that Scorpion. And Measim manages to stem some of the bleeding a little bit. His positioning was a little bit better there.
Mm-hmm. Now, starting in round 4, I think that's where we can start to expect some sort of diversification here. On Dzemp's side, he has a very strong anti-unit damage in the later rounds, whereas Measim does not, right? Not only because we have 2 Scorpions, 4 Stormcallers, all of which can take down giants, no problem whatsoever. Now adding another Scorpion. So Dzemp is really kind of setting up for the ultra late game. The fire is interesting. I think the fire is sort of a in-between tech, is that at some point, I think Dzemp is going to want to have range on these Scorpions and also levels. But until he gets to that point, he does not want to waste any money on chaff clear. And he's going to say, hey, I got these Stormcallers, I'm going to get them fire, that's my chaff clear, he's going to tie me over until I have range, level 2 Scorpions.
You know what he's going to do with these Scorpions? He's going to do what he did to Steelsane in the Asia Tourney finals, which is Siege Scorp, Fire Callers with acid. That's my read on it. That is completely my read on it, and I think it is uniquely situated to deal with these Vulcan plays. I think it's just insanely strong.
Yes. Now remember, like when your units are standing in acid, they take additional damage from all sources, and that includes the fire.
True.
So fire on average does what, 300 damage per second? And if you times that by another 250%, that's a considerable amount of damage just by walking and standing in it.
True. And the reality, right, is I feel like I'm doing it again. I feel like Dzemp is very clearly working to this very cohesive endgame strategy. Something that we missed out on last round, right, was both players picked Enhancement Module in the attempt to accelerate their economy into the endgame. And what I was going to say, right, is I feel like Dzemp is working towards this very cohesive strategy. And I feel like Measim in some capacity is as well, but I feel like I'm seeing visions of the last game. So maybe...
Oh, you caught it.
Yeah, baby. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be so cool. Dzemp has made a couple posts on the Mechabellum Discord saying that he misses the old Siege Scorp. And you know what? Maybe it was never gone. Maybe it was always here. And we see Dzemp electing to not play into any sort of giants or any sort of melters, which I think might actually be decent here in the nearest future, right? But instead, electing to round out with more Stormcallers and more range with the Siege Scorpion upgrade. How do you feel? What's your read on the board right now?
Right now, I am urging Measim to go air. He cannot win the ground fight whatsoever. The ground AoE denial is just too great, right? His unit does not even get close to whatever Dzemp's got. Like, it doesn't matter if the crawlers all die. We got these Vulcan, we got the Scorpions up front, right? He needs to go air like yesterday.
Yeah, and the longer we take to go air, right, the more I feel like this favors Dzemp. And we can see the Vulcan on the left being immediately deleted. And now all these Stormcallers have to run through this fire and slowly get charred up. And then we have this Scorpion over here, this blue Scorpion, just raining hell from halfway across the screen.
Oh my goodness. Like, he needs to go air right now. I don't actually see a way for Measim to win on the ground unless he goes super crazy, maybe lose crawlers, maybe just replicating crawlers directly on the edge. I'm not sure. Dzemp realizes that and is adding chaff clear, and here's the acid. So the board is now complete with acid, scorps, range, arclight to catch the straggling crawlers, and 6 stormcallers with fire. Nothing on the ground can beat that sort of army.
No, and you can see Dzemp blocked that he had some issues clearing crawlers last game. And so he is now rounding that out by just creating a couple arc lights. That drop 3 level 3 arc lights, which is pretty great for him. So he just adds in one more to tuck in all the storm callers with each other and make this nice and neat. Some cool stuff here from Dzemp.
So here's something that we don't see often, that definitely wasn't in the last tournament, is range Farseer with anti-missile. Now here's the tricky part with range Farseer. Range Farseer shoots at 180 meters. Its anti-missile actually only covers 150 meters, which means it's not going to be close enough to catch those rockets the moment they leave the Stonecaller, but instead it's going to catch them about 30 meters later. It's not going to stop all of the fire, but I think it's doing okay. And the range, though.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, those scorps. Holy cow.
I don't know what to say about what's happening right here. Somehow Measim manages to eke it out, but I think in the long run, this definitely favors Dzemp.
Oh, for sure. I think with Dzemp, what he needed to do, that's one way to do it. I was going to say maybe at some point start dropping level 2 rate with field maintenance and just tank the shots from these Farseers. There's really nothing on Measim's board that can effectively take down level 2 rate with field maintenance, and that will give his ground army to mop up everything.
Yeah, and more Scorpions. I'm surprised we haven't seen range get picked up. Measim now picking up fire colors to match. We're watching a weird game of mirrors. And here is the thing I think Dzemp is going to probably end up doing here. He's going to add in these Phoenixes, he's going to add in Wasps, and he's going to mobile beacon delay Wasps. And that will be the thing that wins the round, I think, later on. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think this is super heads up, right? Measim's marksmans are on the ground and Dzemp's are in the air. And it turns out that's pretty hard to deal with. Dzemp is pushing. Dzemp is loaning here and going temp range. So he senses blood in the water here. Games.
All right, let's see. I mean, I really couldn't tell. It's such a positional game. Everything down to where the crawler moves is just, we don't know. Wow. So now with fire crawlers coming down on both sides, it's really just coming down to chap. And I think, I don't know what I'm thinking. I was going to say, Measim may have a slight advantage due to the Giants tanking just a few more shots, allowing the fire to land on those fire callers, but the Scorpion are just doing way too much damage.
Oh, yeah. This is so sick. Very rare do you see acid siege scorps doing this much work, but you could kind of see what was occurring in the last round, what I was talking about earlier, right? The marksmans are going to be clumped up near this Vulcan, and what ends up happening is these siege scorps have 15 meters of splash here. Yeah, so if your unit is anywhere remotely close to one of these Scorpion shots, they are being deleted. And another cool thing here is Measim sells out of the Rhino, the double Rhino drop, but Dzemp is keeping it in. And I think this is super heads up, right? There's not a lot that's going to be left on the battlefield once these Scorpions have had their way with it and these Stormcallers have had their way with it, that's going to really stop what these Rhinos are trying to do.
Now, one thing to note is that Measim picked up EM on the Farseers, and the Farseer right now doing 180 meter damage. If the Farseer can disable these acid rhinos early enough, that is going to remove almost half of Dzemp's damage output for the rest of the round.
Absolutely.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
And I'm just wondering if Dzemp's chaff is that good.
Well, I mean, the reality, right, is that Dzemp's chaff will be pretty damn good because we have these rhinos as these delayed tanks, so to speak, coming in. My thought process was that he was going to go for wasps here, but instead he's electing for the rhino play, and I think that's super heads up. And both players shielding up again. Dzemp ranging and loaning. Measim doing much the same, and it's probably all going to come down to this one round. Both shields on Measim's sides are already gone, however, and these acid scorps are raining hell.
Farseer never had a chance to target these scorpions. This late arriving fence just so much value, and they're still killing fence all the way up to this second.
But can we kill this rhino? Yeah, it's gone.
Yes,
it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
And that's game for Dzemp here. Dzemp managing to show us an interesting method of standard play by one, not building Vulcans, and by two, taking an underutilized tech and probably what people would consider an underpowered tech and really showing where it shines. What are your thoughts on this, Stoney?
I love it. I think both players are really bringing the best of what they've cooked up in the last couple weeks to the table. Measim knows that his range Vulcan Stonecaller wins some games, and he continues to deploy that. And Dzemp, what an innovative strategy with this complete range army. Like, you're just stopping everybody from getting close to you. I love it. I love to see more of it. So far, we haven't seen any aggro play, so I wonder if that's something that we can expect in the next couple games.
And in terms of their starting comps, I would say sledges are very advantaged into crawler Mustang starts, but the marksman has nothing of value to shoot at against crawler Mustang. So I might say overall, Steelsane is advantaged, but he adds arc lights, which sort of become a target for the marksman.
Yeah. So the old way that I used to think about this was, you want your comp of single target damage and chaff clear, and Mustangs used to fall into the chaff clear bucket. They don't as much anymore, but instinctually it's a little scary to see these arc lights paired up with Mustangs, right? Feels like they're doing a little bit of double duty, but
yeah, I think of Mustangs as being health inefficient unit clear, which includes units like Fang but not Crawler, but then it includes units like Phoenix and Wasp but not Wraith, and the arc lights are more of just a crawler and just a tightly packed unit clear. They clear crawlers, they clear Fangs, they clear Mustangs.
Yeah, so no spice from Bearlike yet.
Yeah, actually going with a very straightforward formation. But he is going to win round one and get some experience on the Mustangs. They may even level if they go take out this tower.
What if Bearlike's playing the ultimate mind game, and he says in his card that he loves trolling, but he plans to play the most standard of games, just to get in people's heads?
Yeah, it's possible.
Doesn't seem very Bearlike, but maybe this is what he's been training for.
And I'm curious to what extent he's studied how Steelsane forms up, because Steelsane is forming up in a very standard way, with the sledges inside. Against Mustangs, like, Mustangs on the outside got to avoid the sledges and kill the marksman, which worked out very well for Bearlike.
Yeah.
So unit drops are shown. High-level Fangs and Wraith, not necessarily super great standard units. Otherwise, you get Typhoons or Rhino. None of these are really great in this board.
These are all aggro units.
Bearlike chooses the Fangs. I like Steelsane's choice of the Rhino because it is the most tempo. And when the cards aren't particularly helping your strategy, I would generally just say take the tempo.
Yeah.
But Bearlike takes the fangs and puts them on the outside.
Yeah, little peculiar.
We'll have to see. He still has the option to sell out, but he could move into his famous late aggro
Yep.
with getting some fortresses in front, which would do well into the sledge mark board, which can't really kill a fortress.
Yeah, I'm wondering what his plan is. Like, is the plan to keep these fangs? Is the plan to have them be expensive chaff, or is he going to carry with them?
Yeah.
Or is it just versatility? It's a little bit of everything.
Sometimes if I take a drop and I'm thinking I'm just going to sell this drop, I still won't sell it immediately just to sort of see, am I sure I don't want this on my board?
Yeah, or make your opponent play around it for a bit.
Yeah, it's helping to kill this rhino quite a bit. They are number 2 damage on his board. He could sell the left side one, and then, because it's just feeding sledges at this point.
That is scary. Gives a lot of experience. But I'm loving the idea of some Scorps on Bearlike's board.
Yeah.
When I see this many sledges...
Yeah, it could be a
Scorps.
Scorp staying. Oh, it just doesn't quite kill the Sabertooth, which is top damage for Steelsane. Steelsane maxing out the tempo there, taking the Rhino and, of course, having the Sabertooth. Now we get some card choices. All pretty strong cards. Steelsane continuing to go with the sort of tempo, sort of value direction with the portable shield to put on one of his big units. Bearlike still contemplating. A little too far apart for Underground to get huge value, but it becomes good later. And he could pick up efficient giant manufacturing if he wants to go into a giant strategy. So giving it a think, Steelsane takes all of the sledge levels that were available, sells the Rhino, and puts the portable shield on a sledgehammer. He does run armor, by the way. Armor, range, mech rage, and EMP.
Yeah. As a sledge specialist, how do you think sledges are poised in the meta right now in standard versus standard?
I'm not totally sure. I haven't been playing that much sledge, and I haven't been playing that much standard. Bearlike does go with the portable shield, by the way. But I've still seen them look good. The change to the core damage tech they had makes it, and the nerf to extended range sledge makes them have less carry potential.
Yeah.
Technically, they can carry harder with that tech. I mean, the tech's not on the bar, though, but it reduces attack speed, which is fundamentally a weakening tech.
Yeah.
So Bearlike does sell out of the left side Fang, keeping the right side one to potentially kill the Rhino, but the Rhino is gone. And
Arbiter has keenly pointed out Bearlike's floating a lot of money, perhaps for War Factory, which is a phenomenal answer to punish these sledges.
Yeah. And they synergize well with the Mustangs that he's continuing to build. And he could also go into Fortress.
Yeah. Yeah, Fortress would be equally powerful, it feels like, and he's got the traditional units for it.
Picking up the barrier, and he did float the portable shield, so it looks like it'll be a giant of some kind, a non-War Factory giant. Vulcan is the unlock for Bearlike. Steelsane going Missile Strike, aiming it at the strongest of the Mustangs, but if Bearlike plays this turn perfectly, he might barrier that side to play around the Missile Strike. Nope.
So,
Backwards.
yeah. How are you feeling about this Vulcan buy? Is it not perplexing?
It is a bit perplexing. So, Vulcan in principle can do well into sledges if you give them range and scorch. which he does run on the bar. Just confirming he has Scorch available. But with Vulcan Mustang, you are getting double countered by armor.
Yeah.
And Steelsane running Electromagnetic Shot means that he can long-term defeat Vulcans with his sledgehammers. Especially since Bearlike has no fangs on the board. The core way to beat that is just to fill the board with fangs and give them shields. Of course, he does run loose formation. So maybe that will play the same role.
Well, and I think the most obvious question is Steelsane has 3 packs of chaff. You already have Arclights and Mustangs. What is the Vulcan for?
Yeah, it has to purely be for sledge clear, like logically.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are necessarily enough tempo to clear the sledges. I could be wrong. He did get items for both of them. Because if they can actually kill the sledges and level, it's great for Bearlike. If they just die this turn and he has to buy another tech without getting levels on them, he has some problems.
I think Bearlike has some problems. I think he has problems. Oh no.
So no levels, while Steelsane does level his units. Advanced powertrain offered could be the pick for Steelsane. Bearlike going Wasp, no, they're both going Wasp.
Yeah.
And Steelsane just choosing to cover Wasp with his own Wasp.
Makes sense.
Putting it centered.
Yeah. The Mustangs, you can't really place those Wasps aggressively.
Yeah.
Alright, Scorch clicked. Will Bearlike find a way to turn this around?
So he adds more crawlers. He has exact money for loose formation. I wonder if... Yep, there it is. So we're going to learn right now how well loose formation does into this sledge board. Steelsane did get a level on that item to Mustang. And he was able to add new Sabertooths against each Vulcan. And Wasp at least distracting the marksman for now, but otherwise, with the Mustangs going down, Steelsane actually will at least take the round with the Wasps. But that would be a bad result for him if everything else dies to the Vulcans.
Yeah.
Which there's still crawlers out in the middle.
The loose formation crawlers.
The loose formation
disgusting.
is doing quite a lot of work.
Even so, right or left side Vulcan falls.
Yeah, I didn't.
Right side Vulcan has a level.
Yeah, I didn't catch if it got the level, the one that died. Sometimes you're able to click dead units, but right now I cannot. Actually, there are some Mustangs alive, but I think they die right now.
Marksman ending them.
But Bearlike kind of getting a pretty desirable result in that he's not dead. And his comp looks like it has the potential to win. Yeah, they both level. Another
Arbiter
item.
Arbiter pointed out that Bearlike does have double attack enhancement already.
Oh wow.
That's sort of wild on top of Scorch.
Yeah, and taking in a firepower system for presumably his third Vulcan.
There it is.
Yeah, it could have been another port shield, but he just wants the damage. Steelsane giving it a think and electing for the orbital.
Yeah, makes sense. I would do the same. There's a lot of options for Steelsane now, right? He got posed a few problems. He's got to deal with the loose formation crawlers. He's got to deal with the Scorch Vulcans. But I feel like he's got the tools to answer this. He decides that Mech Rage is going to be his answer.
Yeah, it's entirely reasonable.
Yeah, entirely reasonable. I think it will be good.
Clear 50% faster. Is 50% enough? It also improves his damage into the Vulcans afterwards by a decent amount.
I've played a million sledges, quad tech sledges, and I've always been astounded by how bad in the late game they are at clearing chaff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
He is just spamming them, and he immediately clears out a couple of those Mustang packs with the orbital, but its orbital is also not performing that well into the loose crawlers.
Yeah.
But they're going down. There's no more waves of crawlers behind this. The sledges are just now starting to die, but imagine if Steelsane clicks EMP on his sledges next turn, and these Vulcans at this moment lose their range and lose their Scourge.
That is a great point. Like, the blue Vulcans are insanely oppressive right now.
Yeah.
But like you said, as soon as they're EMP'd...
Yeah, that double attack enhancement becomes kind of relevant the moment the EMP hits, to be honest.
True. True.
Here's the next drops. Sandworm for Bearlike. No melters offered to Steelsane. He could take a level 2 fort, or he can take some balls if he thinks they can get to the Vulcans, but I kind of imagine he doesn't think they can get to the Vulcans.
Yeah.
So it will be fort for Steelsane. More beef on the board. That is a difficult unit for Bearlike to kill because all of Bearlike's damage is the Vulcans.
Yeah. I was thinking if there is an angle that Steelsane can go where he locks the Vulcan on a big tanky unit like a Fortress or a War Factory.
Mm-hmm.
And then the chaff just clears in and does everything. But Steelsane choosing to be a little bit more cautious with his Fortress.
Yep, and yeah, the Fortress will come in late, I suppose. And Bearlike adding some Wasps as additional chaff that the sledges do not clear. So they'll distract the Marksman, but they will not distract the Sabertooths. It's Marksman EMP from Steelsane. That's going to be a big oof when he sees the Wasps. But he's got fire, he's got oil, and he has a missile strike as well.
Yeah, and he's got loads of HP.
The oil won't be lit up, though, for a while, which I somewhat question. I feel like you wanted the oil where it would get lit on fire immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these loose crawlers are getting out of it now.
Yeah.
It's like it will... Oh, it doesn't light. Almost everything gets out of the oil.
Well, let's hope that oil stays for next round for Steelsane.
The big fortress goes down to the level 3 Vulcan. Marksmen are just shooting wasps. Nothing is EMP'd. They did EMP a worm briefly, but it didn't have tech.
Notably, the oil was not lit.
Yeah, sometimes you get trolled where at the last second your storm just lights the oil on fire. So,
Alright, Bearlike has made this game very interesting. Lightning, it's got to be Snap's pick. Lightning.
Yep.
Both.
I guess Bearlike can think about Absorption Module briefly and then go, yeah, no, it's Lightning Storm.
Okay, both players take it. Most expensive spell in the game.
Yep. Fort is gone. We now have Melters. Steelsane putting those Melters out pretty forward. I guess most of his comp will get in front of them later.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable to kill a few extra crawlers.
Yeah, my instinct would be to put them behind the sledges, but this will have to work. Now, the issue is that because he's adding Melters, he's not adding a Wasp Answer.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the plan there?
I guess Lightning Storm should hit a couple of them. He has this forward Fang to funnel 2 of the packs in.
Yep.
Bearlike going armor on the worms. He still has his deploys left. If he's bold, he could double down on the wasps.
So Is the oil gonna get lit this time?
It doesn't look like it. Bearlike actually puts a crawler right in front, which is maybe not what he wants. He's sort of risking it for the biscuit here because of the randomness of Stormfire.
Yeah.
It doesn't get lit, so it shouldn't get lit after that.
Keeping things interesting.
But there is now fire in a place where crawlers are coming forward, so I somewhat question that. Lightning Storm ends. That's a lot of armored worms, but the melters are there for them. Melters getting vulcanized, though.
Oh, baby.
Tower going down at a very opportune time for
Is
Mr. Bearlike.
Steelsane alive?
I don't think so. There's just a couple wasps.
No.
I think it's no, it's not. It's better than exact.
Oh my god.
Welcome to round 2 of the Dev Pro tournament. This is the first game of the losers bracket. We earlier saw Crazyfish, who is a dev and the tournament week 69 Asia rookie group champion, so able to run off a 7-game winning streak in a tournament. Saw Crazyfish lose to Dzemp in round 1, as Titan was just describing to you. Doxun, with the first round loss to Measim, has a Farseer specialist with...
I foresee many Farseers.
I foresee Farseers, indeed. Has a Storm and Arclight start, so very much a range war position. And with Farseer behind, I would imagine we're going to have many missiles. For Crazyfish,
Yes.
having just lost to the Marksman drop, makes sure there will not be a Marksman drop this game. Picks up 2 Marksmen. Obviously, wanted some single targets, so he's got his chaff in the triple crawlers. His chaff clear would be the 2 sledges, and then his single target are the Marksmen. For Doxun, it's chaff with arc lights for the chaff clear, and storms are sort of the single target. They do dish out a lot.
I mean, they can
of
definitely.
damage.
Yes, they do.
But I really like the marksman with sledgehammer into the storms because even once you get a little bit of speed, you can kind of debate all of the storms, and the marksman can still get kills, and it's kind of happening right now even.
Right. Marksman gets through, gets tower, and you get the classic end state. 1 marksman versus 1 storm. Poor storm was locked onto a tower, so Doxun loses.
And the marksman leveled.
4,200 apiece. And
Immediate haste module. ER Phoenix if somebody wants it. Defensive wasp swarm.
Doxun came a runner-up in the mini tournament earlier today, a mini tournament European. Picks up 2 more crawlers behind towers, corners and tower, I guess. The corners are the new ones. For Crazyfish, we know they like their storms. They've just picked one up. They're playing the wasp swarm defensively. And still has a deploy at 100. You kind of imagine that's going to be the matching crawler back in this corner, and it is. Neither player using neither player's using the Rhino to protect, or to the Rhino 3x3 to have some space to handle a Badger.
Fire Badger
thing.
link.
Also, it looks like there's going to be a marksman on Doxun's side, so this is shaping up to be a bit of a kind of a mirror match, but with a different formation shape.
Right.
Interesting. So, spending a missile just for an arc light and a handful of crawlers. Oh, that's his. That's Doxun's missile. That makes much more sense. Didn't quite get the overlap they might have wanted, though. I'm just kind of surprised to see Doxun missile this early. That missile doesn't really buy you a whole lot, I don't think.
Yeah, he had that 50 left, and sometimes there's a chance, a temptation to spend it when it might not be the best choice. Sometimes it's better to just float your 50. He did put up the checkpoint prediction for you folks. It's a little bit late, but better late than never.
I don't think that was worth the 50. And that's very uncharacteristic of Doxun, too.
Only thing I can think of is if that was to missile out Sledge to prevent them from leveling. And Doxun would be very cognizant of a unit that was close to leveling. Doxun gets a second haste module.
Hasn't used them yet. There's the Farseers, probably for
1,
those haste
2.
modules going to start in the back.
Yep, there they are. Haste module Farseer. Plus 40% damage, plus a whole bunch of speed. Extra.
Those
5
are too
meters per
forward, I
second.
fear.
They are moving at
Those guys
21
are
meters
kinda
per second. They will catch up to these crawlers. Yeah, they might be too far forward.
I think that I want those on the back line at that point. I mean, they are already like 20 plus meters per second movement.
Well, they're 16 meters per second normally. They're 21 now. Yeah, I think of Farseer right now. I'm thinking of Farseer as place it where you would play your Mustangs positionally.
Mm-hmm.
And for Doxun, that's correct. That's what he's done, but he's put them, with the haste modules where the haste module risks overrunning the chaff. I guess is what we're going.
One thing
for.
I've noticed of Doxun play is that he really likes to add arc lights. And he really likes the 5 arc light formation that he's starting to build a line of, even when he has other units. So it'll be curious to see. I imagine he'll be ranging that shortly.
Right. If he's transitioning towards range war, it'll be interesting to see what order he ranges things. Those Farseers are going to be nasty, not just once leveled, but now. They're nasty already. Look how heavily they're winning that side.
Also, he opted out on the range increase tech for the Farseers, not running the range boost.
Ooh, fascinating spot. Wait, no, his Farseer has range boost.
No, the boost, not the range tech, the range boost.
Oh, the
A+10 aura.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not running the range aura on them.
Right.
Preferring to run Photon to the plus 10% range. Or plus 10 meter range. Unit reinforcement, again, comes down on round 4. Sabers for
Doxun
Doxun.
loves his sabers.
I mean, we saw him run a legit saber carry strat to a European weekend tournament title. That was a fun tournament to cast with you.
Yes. It was Saber Tarantula then. It'll look like the Saber Seer now.
It looks like. Wraith, Wasp, and Scorpion, the possible drops for Crazyfish. Let's see what Doxun is doing. He's picked up one more Farseer. Crazyfish does also take the Sabertooth. And as...
Makes sense.
Look at this. Titan just calls it. He's pointed out the 5 arc light. Just knows the game so well. Knows the players so well. That he's able to call what Doxun's doing.
Here's the storms that are coming out to fill in the line on Crazyfish.
Yep. Full storm line. Here is the Sabertooth that's in basically to tank the Farseer damage. Oh god, this Farseer missed leveling by 15 last round.
Oh, you hate it.
15 experience. So everything this one kills is going to be wasted XP this round. And of course it's probably going to get in on the Sabertooth.
Right, and of course the Sabertooth at this level one-taps a level 2 Farseer, and almost one-taps a level 3 Farseer.
Well, and remember where those Farseers ended up, right? They ended up right on the chaff line here last round. So I expect you're going to get... Well, he doesn't have the range to do it.
Crazyfish has a chaff problem, a bad chaff problem.
Right, but I imagine he's planning on solving that with fire.
Sure, that is definitely the plan.
Right, but this is the opposite of what Doxun's done, right? Doxun's been kind of steadily throwing out some arc lights as chaff clear. And Crazyfish has not done that.
Well, and Farseers are fairly decent against chaff. It's also hilarious to watch this Farseer get pushed around by the Sabertooth.
It was pretty fun, yes. We're going to hide the chat window for the rest of the round here. Crazyfish down to 2,022 hit points. Doxun just under 4,000. As we get
Ooh,
into
Nano
round
is so
5.
good on the Saber. Yep, 100%. For both of them, it should be. The heavy armor is tempting, but the healing value is so much, and it's not a tech, so it can't be turned off.
Right. Healing as percentage based of your maximum hit points. So this item and this item would have worked beautifully together, but of course you can't get that. You can't put 2 items on the same unit. So
They both do it.
they both put it on their Saber. They're going to have an additional, goodness, at 90,000, it'll be healing at about 3,600 DPS, maybe 4,000 DPS. So you're going to need to do better than 4,000 DPS to kill this thing, which means
Right.
it might come down to the 2 sabers facing off.
Either that or a tower debuff dog pile.
Power debuff dogpile would do it.
Those are the 2 scenarios where one of these die, and I think that Doxun has consistently proven that he can push to the right side tower of Crazyfish to do that.
Doxun's adds is a pair of storms. And is it this pack of crawler? Yeah. 2 storms and a crawler. So this is one of the things I've been noticing the 2,000 plus MMR players do pretty consistently. It's 2 legit, this is a contributor unit, and 1 more chaff, if they're going to go with 3 deploys. I mean, Dzemp's
Right.
power push on the marksman notwithstanding.
Previous game, yes.
Yes, range on Crazyfish snipers, not yet on Doxun's. I think
Well, those
Doxun-
marksmen are going to put in work.
They will, yeah. I think Doxun may be moving out of the marksman almost. They're sort of a
Yes.
Phoenix prevention at the moment. But even that, and now that he's getting the Farseers up in level. Ooh, the storms were enough to take it down. And as you said, during the tower debuff, your units take 50% more health damage. So that was enough to change the DPS there and pushed those storms
Able
over
to
the
keep
edge.
pushing on the right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Gets through Crazyfish right. Crazyfish down to 500 hit points. Doxun on the verge of making him the first knockout of this tournament. We've got Overlord, Wraith, Typhoon, Melter. Both players took the Melter.
Both go Melter.
And,
There was an argument that I think could have been made for Typhoon for Crazyfish because he has been having a serious crawler problem.
right, it's
He's
a
got to
chaff
click
clear
fire on
problem.
the storms. That's the melting point for the Sabertooth healing makes a ton of sense.
Right, and both of them.
Oh, no! Oh, that's a
Well,
mistake.
he sold the Saber to fund this, right? So he's
Yeah, that's a
got
mistake,
the
though.
Nano. He's got the Nano repair on his Melter now, so it'll be Melter V Sabertooth. The Sabertooth does 33,000 damage per shot, and the melting point has 72,000 hit points. So, it's not going to out heal that. If it gets
Right,
into
it
a
will
fight.
take another. Right, it'll take probably 3 shots if it's locked on, and
It'll be
factoring in the healing.
It'll be 2 because it's backed up by a level 2 Farseer and a whole bunch of storms. So second shot from the Saber will delete it, I think. Very late arriving Fang for Crazyfish, and he's ranging the Fangs.
Okay, I think that. I think the missiles win it for Doxun here. I think that these giants don't get the job done.
Right. The Melter is walking away from its intended target, and now it's out in front where there's no chaff arriving. Right? This is kind of dangerous for him. And there are chaff units, they're over on the other side, but it's a big exposed location.
Yep.
And you can see
And
crawlers
no
go
range
right
on
in
that big
him.
melter. And the
It's not
Vulcan
even-
locks.
It's not even going the right direction. It's heading off a different... Where are you going? It finally figures out, hey wait, there's my target. And it does get the job done. On the other side though, Doxun has already taken out the far side, still has his Melter up. Melter gets tower. And crushing from left to right of that Melter, and 1 pack of storms survives. This round This game goes to Doxun. The Melter goes down, there will be another round, which it does. Very nice for
Arms.
crazyfish. Barely staying alive at 364 hit points. Time to turn it around.
That's right.
Smoke is tempting, but you gotta assume that people bubble it out. And if I
Especially,
actually take advanced shield here,
yeah,
personally.
especially if I'm seeing 2 drops, right? I'm going to take advanced shield and just drop 4 shields because I'm expecting I have to buy the
Right.
shields anyways. I might as well get extra value out of them and save my
Right,
money
and
on
if
the
both-
drop.
Yep, and your opponent's gonna have to shield them.
I mean, at this level, you have to shield, so you can't not.
Right. Notice for those of you who are intending to play the Americas mini tournament, registration is now open. Y'all want to finish up whatever game you're in. Don't start a new one. Get yourself registered for tournament, if that's the direction
Or
you're
stick
going.
around. Because
Yeah.
this is amazing gameplay with some really fun people to watch, and the night's just getting started.
Indeed, indeed. We've got lots more action to come.
Yeah. The Melter on the other side, the only reason crazyfish got to pull off what they did was because that Melter got to kind of run away with things, and I think the Melter on that side now for Doxun is going to make this a hard pivot.
Right.
Ooh, the Farseers have EMP.
Yeah,
Interesting.
ranged EMP on the Farseers. The EMP on the Farseers only costs 100, so even with this, this is 2 300 cost techs. It only costs him 600 out of the, it's around 1400 income that they had. He's still got plenty to play with. 400 for the... 400 for
I
this.
like the idea of the rare units having a key 100 cost tech, like with the Sabertooth, it's the double tap, and for Farseer, it's the EMP. It's
Something that they can do almost inherently as a very low investment.
Right. This is what I am good at.
right.
And when you're thinking about it, it very much makes sense. This is an electronic warfare unit. This is a tank that has 2 guns.
Right. And yep, the
Lock
EMP
on.
connects.
The EMP did not connect with the Melter over here, so crazyfish winning on the near side, but now
Now
the
it
EMP
connects.
is connected, and that should be GG's.
Yep.
Doxun winning crazyfish. The dev eliminated. Winner of the rookie group, but as you can tell, working too hard on actually building the game and not playing it on ladder. Fair enough. I can't fault you for
Great
that,
game.
sir. Thank you, GG's. But obviously, it's great that the devs, even without being playing super actively recently, you can tell from his combat power, that we've got devs that are at the 1800 MMR level. They're playing the game. They know the game, right? This is kind of the cool aspect of it. Farseers
project.
are a little overtuned, perhaps. But they are beatable. I did beat one earlier in the day, so you can go rewatch that one on VOD if you want. For this match, of course, it was just 3 of them. It's not like they are this one did 250,000 damage because it was dropping damage into a healing.
Right. It was kind of a deceptive health damage translation because of the saber that it was shooting.
Yep. But Doxun with a very classic, Storm Callers did in fact range the arc lights, so that's the chaff clear there. Like Titan was saying, 5 arc lights across. Has the 3 deep Farseers, which are doing the EMP, and just a great little chaff board of. For him, it's mostly mid-late and late arriving chaff, with Crawler up front. Toast, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Toast giving out some gift subs to Mr. Krieger and Manitou. Very, very nice. Much appreciated. Congrats, Woof. Well played, well played.
Well played, dog.
Yeah, indeed.
And for the long haul.
And congratulations to the only 8% of you backed that. Wait a minute. I am a little confused.
Wow.
Nobody had faith in you, Doxun.
I will say, I think Crazyfish would have benefited a lot from clicking fire on the ground.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't. I was expecting that.
All of the crawlers are late and would have run through that, and it would have been a huge boon. Because I think he was, even though he had more chaff, he was losing the chaff war because he didn't have the chaff clear.
Right.
Whereas the 5 ranged arc lights and 5 storms were outperforming him in the clear role. So using fire would have been a great supplement for him.
And I mean, if you look at that, that is the fundamental difference between these two boards is we've got one more storm color on Doxun's side, and then the chaff clear is 5 ranged arcs, so they're covering multiple angles, rather than 2 Vulcans that are covering one specific location.
Instant pick for Hello on
cost control. Does that mean we're gonna have a sledge spam?
We may well. Sacco taking his time. He's offered speed specialist, but it's only got Mustangs as a start.
He's
giant
eyeing
specialist.
He's eyeing the steel ball and the giant, but it's not paired with the crawler.
Oh, I reckon he goes Rhino here. Let's see. Or does he take Aerial for the cheese wasp start again?
All of them are viable for Sacco. I think Sacco I myself would have gone. He would speed. I was going to say I think he might go Rhino here. Myself, I would have picked giant. Speed it is.
This is a weak opener though. Just Mustangs and crawlers.
Yeah, as we were talking before the start, Mustang is my least favorite starting unit. So this is
a double tank as well. It's rough.
Oh yeah,
tanks are good versus both of those. Right up on the line again. Sacco wants to go and go quick.
Both sides loading up on extra chaff and playing aggro.
Oh, no, he's pulled back. Wait, is the developer using the default formation offered?
I think he clicked and dragged and is moving him around.
Box dragged. Okay.
Worth mentioning, with that extra cost control money, he spent it on the defense tower upgrade rather than a higher value unit or anything like that at the start.
I can respect it. It's balancing out those reduced stats from being cost control. So he's actually gained health now. His units are bigger than his opponents.
Yeah, so essentially his tanks are normal tanks, and given that his board is against Mustang, I bet that played into it, because he's laughing at those Mustang. Personally, I would have picked vertical tanks to handle the crawler a little bit better with the salvo fire or volley fire.
Yeah, vertical tanks are great versus close combat, but lower damage output. I think he wants them for the damage right now.
Yeah, he was looking at doing aggro as well, but I think in the end it would have been better. That's why I tend to go that way, especially if my opponent starts with crawlers.
You're a vertical tank enjoyer.
I am.
That's what Rat says to do, so you should do it.
Words to live by.
If a talking rat on the internet tells you what to do, you do it. Well, if you want to win.
If you want to win.
But we're here to have some fun.
Is Sacco picking up the wasp play?
Oh, the fire badgers will be tempting though versus cost control.
I think Hello really is looking at those fire badger, just because of how badly he kind of got overrun with chaff there. There is the fire badger for Hello.
Nice, easy, quick pick for him.
Sacco's still thinking about it.
Yeah, he's tempted by the wasp. I can hear it from here.
He's tempted by the wasp, but the Phoenix might be the better long-term play. He could keep those shooting all day.
But it's overkill versus cost control, isn't it?
Well, and certainly with this much chaff as well, we're seeing a fire badger flank.
The classic. But Sacco's left space for a rhino if he wants, just to block it next turn.
Both sides going fire badger.
Double fire badger. Fire badger headbutt.
So this is Sacco picking fire badger just because it is a tanky unit in its own right. He's using that to tank on behalf of the Mustang against the sledges.
And he's setting up a flank of his own, but an aggressive front-facing flank. Trying to encroach in the corner slightly.
I guess the big question is that flank going to... Is the rear flank there, done by Hello, is that going to be successful? They're just now getting summoned in?
I think it will be. They're murdering all the crawlers. Oh, it's a bloodbath.
There they go. The crawlers are still alive.
Oh, nice.
Tower's getting attacked.
Through to the tower. Yes.
The advantage is just picking an aggro start, all of his units combining on that tower. But now it's going to be, once that wears off, those tanks are still alive. Level 2 Fire Badger, just too healthy, too tanky though.
Look at how fast those fire badges are as well. 13 meters per second. That's speed start. Alright, hello. What do you do here? I think I go Wraith, but we just watched Wraith get annihilated last game.
Sticky oils to slow this down and ignite. Are we going to see Sako do the same? With the shield. Will we see a offensively placed shield? That shield could be deployed on his opponent's side. He did a little bit. He's anticipating the oil. At the very least, he's trying to protect against the Fire Badger with it.
Oh, he's reconsidering. Where's he going to put it? Same place, okay. Small reposition.
Phoenix have been purchased along with Marksman. Actually, he might have started with Marksman, I don't recall. But the Phoenix now going for a cheesy tower grab. Also, in order to assist the Phoenix attacking the tower, he's got a flank of another crawlers to grab that chaff. What he does not know is the new Mustangs being positioned that will be able to take on those Phoenix.
Yeah, they're going to get pulled sideways, but the tanks are very close as well. If the tanks kill the Mustangs before the Mustangs kill the Phoenixes, that tower is falling in seconds.
It's only going to take 2 shots from those Phoenix.
Yep. Always pull them back slightly. That 6th sense kicking in. And a cheeky missile. There we go.
Alright, the oil is lit. All those Mustangs dying. Phoenix are going to turn on the tower. No! The Phoenix are focused on the single Mustang that lived. The tower survives. A twist of fate. And now Sako running through his own fire.
The fire.
No, the other that wasn't his own fire. Hello's fire.
Got so much fire from the fire, but he doesn't have anything left that can shoot up. So this round is definitely Hello's.
The question is by how much? Will he have anything left over? He does.
Little tap, you know.
It's a little tap, but it's not really what I would call momentum.
No, not really, because that's oil-based. And you can't rely on oil every turn.
We do have the Rhino picked for Hello, looking for another just reprieve from the opponent's aggressive positioning.
Straight into the back middle. Wants that tower. Wants it fast.
Will Sako defensively play his because he knows that that's likely?
Yeah, surely.
An upgrade on the tower as well, the one that's getting rushed. On Hello's side.
Hello still hasn't taken the attack up from the tower, so his units are still hitting a little bit softer than they should be, with the cost control reduction. Oh, we have an aggressive Rhino drop.
Along with some Fire Badger support.
Yeah.
More Rhinos being purchased as well to take on the flanking Fire Badger.
And it's clever, the way he's dropping that Rhino is to land on the crawlers as they move across to the Fire Badgers. So half those crawlers are gone as soon as the Rhino lands on top of them.
We call it the Rhino Missile. There are times when you can use that as literally as a cooldown offensive piece is the dropping unit, whether you use a Rhino or a Vulcan. I think the damage inflicted is their health pool.
Yep, it's the Goomba Stomp.
We have a little bit of a maneuver with the Phoenix, trying to avoid getting pulled in the wrong direction.
Oh, he missed the Goomba Stomp.
But the other Rhino deploy, it has a free shot on the tower.
There we go. Tower down, what, 6 seconds into the round? That is rough.
I do think Sako still is going to reach that left tower, but the left tower is leveled up. And so it might just be tanky enough to allow for the rest of the units to pick up the fight.
It's burning. It's burning. It's gone. And then the Rhino takes the opposite tower as well. Oof.
9 seconds per tower, an 18-second penalty.
That's a good chunk of HP now.
And the momentum is back in Sako's corner.
That's half Hello's health bar gone. Needs more oil, he needs it fast. Oh, he's got half the oil. He's got the Vulcan. Nope. He's taking the steel balls. Okay.
Steel ball.
Interesting.
Sako grabbing the Scorpion, probably tired of those Fire Badgers holding out as long as they have been.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be one and done from that Scorpion. The steel balls will block the path.
The steel balls are going to get one shot from a level 3 Scorpion. But I can see the reasoning. He's lining up those steel balls with the Fire Badgers. He wants those Fire Badgers gone.
Yeah.
Both sides
having
having
trouble.
trouble.
For the shield. That's the plan with the steel balls.
Mm.
Get that shield gone. It's not going to happen now, I'm afraid, with the Scorpion there.
No, I think the Scorpion is really, compared with the steel ball, especially with the positioning, as we can see where they're going to be targeting them, the Scorpion are perhaps a nail in the coffin.
He's taking lifesteal on the steel balls as well for the extra health.
That gives the level 2 steel ball up to 12,000 life. The level 1 Scorpion, 10,000 damage.
One shot is not a thing anymore.
The level 3 Scorpion, the level 1. The level 3 will still handle it, but the level 1 will the steel ball be able to lifesteal back up to health in time. I have doubts.
Stuck on crawlers though. They're gonna get stuck on crawlers and Mustangs.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to lifesteal on anything of value.
Nice mobile beacon though, pushing those Phoenixes straight out.
So that tower looks like it is going to die. We'll see how long it takes. It's level 2.
And the napalm on the Fire Badgers, roasting everything on the ground.
That napalm is a major change, I think, on the battlefield here.
Clears the chaff in seconds.
With that tower down, there is a window for those Phoenix to survive the Mustang and then turn on the Scorpion. But there's just nothing else alive because of the napalm.
Yeah,
so Phoenix are dropping.
Scorpion's going to take the tower as well. Oof. Mr. Rhino is angry. He's here to avenge his buddies. But the tower falls at the perfect time.
Oh, the Scorpion hit.
There's 2 Mustangs alive. Will it be enough? Yes,
they
it
are.
will.
Oh no.
Oh. And the Scorpion survives on a fraction of HP. Hello's gonna get frustrated by that.
Okay, we just saw a amp core purchase onto that Scorpion.
Rhino. Another Rhino drop.
Another Rhino drop. We also have the shield drop back up. Is he going to put that on one of his flanks to protect them, or is he going to just save it for the next turn, which is when the oil drop's happening?
This is a Scorpion aggro now.
With these small packs of medium units, the Steel Ball and the Fire Badgers, it's just asking for Scorpion.
Yeah, so much value from each shot.
I almost wonder if he goes for something like double shot, just to make sure that he does take out the Steel Ball in a single volley, the level 2s.
If you look closely, the way he's lining up these Scorpions with the Fire Badgers, he's targeting the Scorpion on the center Fire Badger, so the splash hits all 3 of them, not just 2 of the pack.
Very effective.
Okay, the most bang for his buck.
Now, Hello picked the Replicate on the Crawlers. I think a loose formation might have been... He doesn't have it, though, but a loose formation might have been welcome here.
There's so many Fire Badgers, I don't think Replicate Crawl's going to do much.
Yeah, I don't really think that that's a good investment, but he might be considering the flanks.
The flank? Yeah.
Particularly that flank on the bottom right, with Sako only having the 1 crawler. He's probably hoping to overwhelm it.
But those towers are leveled up. Crawlers are not taking those towers.
And the crawler's leveled up as well. We might still see that turn to level 3 for all we know.
The defensive missile's going to slow down the Rhino.
Well, here we go. I have my doubts about the Replicate. The Rhino is slowed with that missile. One of the Scorpions has already fallen, but the other ones have dealt considerable damage to all of these medium units.
Doing work.
Oh, but the
Rhino
just turned. No. It did not go to the tower.
It'll get there in the end, though, right?
Oh, just enough. One swing away.
Punch. But look how long it's going to take to kill that tower.
That tower is leveled.
There we go. Once again, it's going to be down to the Phoenixes.
Will those Mustangs take it out? It looks like they did. There's 1 Phoenix left in the bottom, but I think Sako's getting the round once more.
Yeah, but not by much. Just getting little scrappy wins.
It still is anyone's game.
I think Sako's definitely the driving seat right now, though.
What do you think about
fire control? Sorry, yep.
Well, improved fire control is certainly a solid pick. What do you think about advanced missile device here, though? Ooh. Using that to potentially take out those Fire Badgers who have 11,000 life, the missile will do 15,000 damage.
Take a chunk out of the Scorpions as well, behind them. Whew.
I don't think either player picked them though, so
Yeah.
not a factor.
A theoretical choice, but it would have been a good one.
I'm a big fan of the upgraded missile, particularly because it only takes 3 of them to bring down a shield. And if you want to use something like an oil, which Hello does, then you can guarantee that the shield is gone.
Oil on the line. Those Mustangs are going to get burnt to a cinder. But he has taken range on them. But they're level 4. Oof. With a damage item, those Mustangs are going to punch.
They are, but there's a whole lot of faith put into them. You do have napalm on the ground. It's all going to depend on which path they take. Are they going to kill themselves? Wraith is going to change things a lot. It's not a surprise. Picking Wraith against an aggro player is a wise choice, but is it too late for level 1 Wraith to really matter?
Yeah, I don't know, because even with armor, they couldn't survive the Mustangs. And naked, I don't see them lasting a second versus these Mustangs. Maybe he's hoping the degen beam does a lot of work.
Even if it's just for a few moments. I do think the one that's facing the high level and itemed Mustang, I think that one is too aggressively placed. I think it's going to die before it is a factor. The other ones maybe have a chance.
One down. Oh, we've got crawls onto the tower already, but it's a level 2 tower.
And those crawlers are replicate, so they might be able to replicate off those Mustangs.
Tower falls. Ooh.
Mustangs are in the pocket, avoiding the fire.
Those are the big Mustangs. Level 4 with a damage item. And the tower is gone.
Tower's gone. Mustangs having field day, driving through fire now. Will they all...
Phoenixes.
Oh, just a handful enough. Once again, just
not enough.
Tiny little chipping
damage.
away.
If I'm Sacco here, I'm taking Giants this turn, no matter what. I just want some 400 damage punches going through at the end of the round. Some haymakers. There we go. Got some overlords.
Overlords. We're gonna see a photon emission, I believe.
Yeah, it's the answer to degen, really. You could just kill the Wraith, and it solves the same problem.
Which he has been, and this last round was partially as weak of a showing with the health damage because of the oil, but that oil's gone now. So those Mustangs really were dominating the round.
Has taken the photon, has taken the big melting point.
Another melting point. Are we going to see range on them? I would hope so. They still got 600 cash left.
Versus aggro, it's less important to get range. I might even be tempted by multi-melter here. He's getting pressured a lot from the front line.
That could be.
Another oil. You can see the desperation in his eyes when the oil gets rolled out 2 rounds in a row.
But this time he doesn't have the shield airdrop to protect from that positioning. He knows what the threat is those Mustangs.
And both players have got Rhino drops as well. Let's see what they drop.
Okay, he went with the life drain.
Nice. Extra health for the melting points.
And
Sacco,
Sacco
big melting point.
defensively playing that Rhino.
I like it, I like it. Where's Hello's Rhino gonna go, though? Where's the red Rhino?
Also, we've got the level 3 Phoenix making a run at that tower. Really, you only have level 1 Mustang, which are already distracted, to protect it.
And they're busy fighting a Wraith. The Rhinos land on top of each other in the back line.
With the missile to add to it.
Oh, the missile saves the day. Good missile.
Phoenix are going to be distracted still as the flank has already gone down.
Can he kill the melting points? I don't think he can.
I don't think so. The range on the Mustang is keeping them just out of the fire, though, so they do still have the damage. Half of them did walk into the fire.
Oof.
The big melter has lifesteal. Is it immortal? I think this round it is.
Oh, no! One's down, but the big one is, yep, gonna live forever.
Hello, get with a little bit of sigh of relief here, breathing life back into his match.
He did push, he did take temporary range at the tower, so he's behind economically.
At this point, round 9, I think you're going to see loans, range, and speed every round.
Every round, yeah, for sure.
For both sides.
He's taking personal shield. He's going to drop on the big melter or one of the Wraiths. Probably the melter for the biggest health bar benefit.
I still don't like the positioning of that front Wraith in front of the big level 6 Mustangs.
No, it needs some chaff or something to body block.
Something, or just sell it and get another one, or not get another one because they're not doing too much. The extra Overlords having more Photon across the board.
He's going to struggle this round, hello. Without oil, oil's been keeping him in it, just killing the Mustangs off for him. He's got nothing else to kill the Mustangs, apart from the Wraiths, but the Wraiths just won't go head-to-head with Mustangs well.
Yeah, he reached for another tool in the toolkit and came up empty. All of the Rhino Assault, everything to assist each round, it's all on cooldown.
Closing missile doctrine. Sacco picking off the chaff with some missiles of his own. Throwing some crawls in front of the big melter. Ooh, missiles across the board. Desperation plays left and right.
Both sides smelling blood.
I'm afraid I think it's the Photon that's made the difference this round. The degen beam is doing nothing. The Wraiths are dead to the Overlords. There's one big melter left. But there is an armada in the skies.
And those high-level Mustang keeping a steady pressure of damage on it, so it can't heal up.
Big melter though, it's living. It's living.
We're gonna have one shot. There it goes. And I do believe that's gonna be game.
Yeah. Unlucky. Nice defense though in the end for Hello. He was under pressure the whole game long.
Absolutely. Being able to, even though losing rounds, those rounds were small amounts, he gave himself a window to be able to turn things around.
I'll just submit the result. 2 seconds.
All right, much appreciated. I'm just going to have a look here and just see if we can figure out what was the top damage for both sides here. The high-level Scorpion, second most for the game, second most for the round. So even when we knew when he purchased it, it was a good purchase. It remained useful the entire game. So he never sold it, he never repositioned it. It was highly aggressive, though. It never had any chaff or anything to protect it. So still managing to be useful is kind of a surprise to me.
Another game, 2 games in a row now where we've seen mechanical division on steel balls used very aggressively. Did it get much value, though?
The steel ball, it's tough to say because a lot of the value is going to be in that mech division. We just can't quantify it. They did not do a lot of damage with that energy absorption, though. So that was an expensive mech division purchase.
Yeah. I think he was hoping they'd survive the Scorpion shots, then latch on and drain the health back. But those Scorpions were just brutal.
Yeah, at that point it was buyer's remorse because that was the same turn the Scorpions came out.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.